Hello, my name is Todd Bonshire, and I'm the manager and curator of the Gold Mining Camp Museum at Monroe Park. Thank you for joining me on my tour of the historic sites of the Fauquier County Parks and Recreation Department. Today I am in front of the Elk Run Church Museum, which is on the site of Elk Run Anglican Church, one of the earliest Anglican churches in Fauquier County. It also has ties to Germantown and the John Marshall Birthplace Park. The Elk Run Church Museum is located at 12187 Elk Run Road in Midland, near the intersection of Midland Road and Elk Run Road. The Fauquier County Parks and Recreation Department has agreed to oversee the programs held at the site in order to open the museum to the public on a more regular basis. The site is still owned by St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Catlett. The Elk Run Church site is 12 miles southeast of present-day Warrenton and was located at the crossroads of the road running northeast from the Elk Marsh Settlement near the Rappahannock River to the Prince William County Courthouse located near present-day Occoquan, and the Shenandoah Hunting Path, or Falmouth Road, running southeast from Leesburg to Fredericksburg. Settlers first arrived in the Elk Run area between 1700 and 1720. In the early 1700s, the Anglican Church, or Church of England, was in continual growth due to the westward expansion of the colonists. The local church parish served two functions: first, as the center of church operations, and second, as an important governing and administrative arm of British colonial rule. In 1730, Hamilton Parish was created, and a church in Occoquan became Hamilton's main church. We are not sure when the first church in Elk Run was built, but in 1744, the Prince William Minute books make note of road repairs being done in front of Elk Run Chapel. This structure would have been a chapel of ease, a place of worship for parishioners distant from the main church. In 1744, Hamilton Parish was divided, and this wooden chapel was designated Hamilton's Parish Church. In the 1750s, a brick church in the shape of a cross replaced this wooden chapel, and would have looked very similar to Christ Church in Lancaster County, built in 1737. The Jefferson Fry map of 1750 is the earliest known map to indicate the site of the Elk Run Church. The first permanent rector of Hamilton Parish and the chapel at Elk Run was the Reverend James Keith. Reverend Keith continued as the head of Hamilton Parish until his death in late 1752. The parish glebe was located on one of the old Germantown tracks, and he purchased additional land in the area. His eldest daughter, Mary Randolph Keith, married Thomas Marshall, who also acquired one of the nearby Germantown lots. John Marshall, their eldest son and James Keith's grandson, later became Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, and he was born there on the Germantown property. Reverend Keith was a very popular preacher, but unfortunately his successors were not. In 1769, Leeds Parish was created from the northern half of Hamilton Parish, taking many influential members with it. Church membership further declined when in 1755 a new church was established closer to the town of Warrenton, and it continued to decline following the Revolution. Due to these factors, it appears that the two churches in Hamilton Parish fell into disuse. Virginia's future Episcopal Bishop, William Meade, noted that he first saw Elk Run Church around 1811 and noted that it slowly disappeared in the next 40 years. For almost 200 years, the remains of the church rested under the soil of Fauquier County, covered by briars, shrubs, and cedar trees. The remains were relatively undisturbed, the land being too difficult to plow through. The former location of the church site was remembered only by a few local residents with long-established family roots in the county. In February of 1999, the Elk Run Church Site Preservation Project, a group of concerned local citizens, organized to carry out research on the church and explore ways to preserve and celebrate the site. From 1999 to 2006, a 100% volunteer archaeological dig exposed the previously unknown stone foundation laid down in the 1750s. Numerous artifacts were discovered, including native projectile points, handmade nails, ceramic fragments, early coins, brick, and a variety of glass. A cemetery was discovered adjacent to the church. Ultimately, 129 volunteers worked over 5,800 hours, excavating more than 54 units. The dig exposed the complete foundation of the church, which consisted of mortared stone with the few remnant bricks from the first course. The stone foundation averaged 3.5 feet wide and approximately 58 feet on each side, while the brick walls were about 2 feet wide and measured 56 feet on each side. The construction of the museum building over an exposed segment of the church foundation was completed in August 2010. Started in 2006, it took over 1,600 volunteer hours to build the museum. The museum's displays tell the history of the area, both Native American and European settlers, the Elk Run Anglican Church and its first minister, along with the 7-year archaeological effort to uncover its foundations. Thank you for joining me at the Elk Run Church Museum. Hope you've enjoyed this video and that you've learned a little about Fauquier County history. So come on back and join us for our next video.